Hey everyone, welcome. How you doing, Frosty?
I am good, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm just frustrated because I'm not as good of a computer person as you.
It's all good, brother. Stuff happens. As you guys could probably tell, we had a little bit of a snafu, but it's okay. It's all good. We are live and saying how do you do's to all of you. So hope everybody's doing well. Thank you, great Scott. Much appreciated, brother. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, Frosty had just had a birthday. What are you, about 85?
No, 84.
84. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you forgot about leap year.
Oh, that's right. I did forget about leap year. How dare I?
What's up, Sassy? 949 Metal Matt. Good day. Hope y'all are well. Thank y'all for being here today.
You're always so fast with that. I try to beat you to it, and I never do.
Well, you got to learn the tricks. The tricks are you click on participants and then you just read the participants instead of scrolling through chat.
Oh.
Yeah, it's way easier that way.
Okay, that tells you how much I don't know.
What's up, Silver Spur? Good day. Hope you're well.
So,
all right. So we got, my camera looks like it's not quite in focus, but we'll see what happens here. We got, you got your first Black Eagle. That's a really cool. So if you don't know what the Black Eagle is,
not a clue.
It is a George Washington $1 note, and it is a very, very collectible piece. It's very cool. It's actually a very nice piece. And I know where you got it from. But yeah, it's amazing piece. They're really cool notes. It's not George Washington. Who is that on the front of that? Or is it the Eagle? I thought it was the George Washington note. It's the it's just the Eagle. Yeah. Only one with two presidents on it. Yeah, anyway, it's a really cool note. I'm not a Lincoln and Grant. I did not know Lincoln and Grant were on there. But yeah, this is why you can tell I don't do currency.
You know, I like currency, but only enough for the teaching box to teach my grandsons. Other than for that, I don't see any reason in holding the notes.
I think they're really pretty. Sorcerer Stan, what's up? Good day.
Hey, Sorcerer,
hope you're well.
Welcome.
I think they're really cool. They're the quality of craftsmanship on those is amazing, but there's so much to learn that you can't do everything, and anybody who tries to just finds themselves
getting frustrated.
So you know, you got to pick and choose what you're going to be good at.
So true. So true. That's one of the reasons I'm grateful you're around, because I'm so technically challenged.
Oh, it's all good. We all have our own issues.
Yeah.
So speaking of issues, why don't we flash up our to-go thing and let's talk about the news. All right. Why don't you break this one out?
Okay. There is a fella, Rob. Hold on, I had Bobby Gray or Rob.
No, wrong topic. Wrong topic. You're heading into the main topic.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. The topic is about the news, and that topic is on tariffs. We changed our mind. We thought tariffs would be a much more prudent topic for today.
Yeah, well, so we were going to talk. So if any of you joined in 949's discussion the other day, we were going to talk about the silver squeeze. However, that was a flop and a half. It never amounted to anything. People realized what was going on and said, no, thank you. And so we opted not to go that route and opted to go with this because there's a lot of things that have happened since Trump ended or yielded out his tariff plan. So we decided we were going to talk about that today.
So basically, long story made short, is he started reciprocal tariffs. And from what I've seen, the media, especially the left wing, went completely bonkers and tried to put a lot of scare into people, trying to get them to realize that we're going to pay more for everything. And when Frosty and I talked about tariffs, we started realizing, especially after Trump did his outdoor announcement, that it wasn't percentage by percentage. It's actually quite different. So, what Frosty thought was that this was not the reciprocal type of tariffs that we thought things were going to be as. But considering the fact that per Trump's announcement, we have been typically tariffing at 2.5%. There has been an increase, but it's not a total match. So
Yeah. So Tiger, if you'll do me a favor, I'm going to have you show my screen, and then I'll have you show the images that you have.
okay.
And what we have here is, now these are the favorable tariffs. We call favorable because they are trade agreements. And when you look at these particular items, there's two things we want to draw to your attention. Number one, you're looking at the disparity. So when you're looking at, and these are done by weight. So when you're looking at the total weight of these, the US, we have a fairly low amount. I mean, we have what they call the standard tariff. So our average tariff is 3.3%. And if we do it specifically by weight, it's sitting at about 2.2%. And then you can see the other countries' standard percentage weights and then their other weights. Now, when you look at this, you're going to see some nations are really taking advantage of things. But when we come down here, it tells the real story. So this tells you actual trade deficits versus surplus with all of the partners that we had last year. And it's this topic right here that led to the types of tariffs that Trump is putting out. Some I 100% stand by. I was extremely surprised when I looked, and when you looked at the total tariff rate. Tiger, you can pull me off and we can look at the ones that you have.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to rephrase that. You can take me off of screen. Because that other one sounded horrible. And we'll look at this for what it is, which is basically a 50% grab of what that tariff is. Now, pull up the colored one. It's much easier to see. That one's hard to see.
Got it.
Yeah. So this one's a lot better. Zoom in a little bit if you can. Perfect. And if you start looking at the numbers, what you're going to notice is you're going to notice that the reciprocal tariff price is, you don't have to keep scrolling. We just need to look at a couple of them.
I'm going to the top. Here it is.
Yeah, we don't need to go through all of them. We only need to look at a few of them. And the two that you can look at right here is Vietnam and Cambodia, right? They're obviously getting pummeled, but I want you to look at the tariffs that get charged for us. 97%, 90% for Vietnam. And so when we're talking about reciprocal tariffs, there's no way that's fair trade. No way. And so what you're seeing here is more of a balancing of those deviations. It's more of a spreading of that wealth. What he's done here is narrow that. And so if you look at this, he's done basically what it is. It's a 50% tariff against what they already tariff us. So when I'd stated this before, that they were going to do a blank 25% tariff or a blank 30% tariff, which was my assumption, it was pretty close. When they went up to 25, all the way up to 50 in some cases. All of these reciprocal tariffs are half, so 50% of, not 50% in addition to, but 50% of the tariff that they're choosing us. In other words, we want some of that back, right? And so We haven't asked them to reduce. Now, some of the nations have reduced their tariffs in conjunction with this. And if you look at some of these numbers, you're going to notice that it's 1-to-1. For instance, UK, it's a 10% sit. They're still sitting at 10%. It's flat. So if you have something 10, 12, 14, 15%, then it's going to be pretty even keeled. It's going to be not necessarily a tit for tat, but it's going to be fairly even straight across. But those countries that are screwing us, exactly, Neil, those countries that are screwing us with our inability to put stuff into their nation. Again, for instance, very few cars are sold in Japan, but if you go down to South Africa, it's almost impossible because the amount of tariffs that are there. Absolutely no US cars and things of that nature are being sent to Vietnam because it's a 90% tariff across the board. There's no way that we can compare with that. So our goods never make it into those countries. So how do you compete? Well, you have to make it harder for them to sell the goods in the US.
True.
Now, there are problems with this, and I'll let Tiger start to talk about the problems in this because, as many of you have seen, we're seeing a check in the stock market. Now, I have a personal opinion on that, but I will deviate and let you all kind of converse to basically what we're talking about. So, Tiger, go ahead. You chit chat with that, and then I'll
Okay.
give my matter of opinion.
Well, basically, the way I see this is that we cannot sustain what has been going on for decades, and I've seen, as you can see on the chart here, that there are countries that we got away with this, now let's go away with a little bit more. We got away with this, let's get away with a little bit more, and they have been suckering us for decades. The problem is that we're already giving them money, a lot of them giving them money to help them, and that started plus or minus at the end of World War II, and we never stopped. So they're getting their financial help, many of these countries, which has never stopped. Plus they're tariffing on top of it, and some of them ridiculous numbers, as you've seen. And a lot of people have believed all the media, especially left-wing media, that everybody's going to be charged more and more and more. Well, that still has yet to remain to be seen because the tariffs have just started. And my feeling is that people don't like change, and they especially don't like change when they got to tighten their belt. And we've had 4 years of having our belt tightened. None of us have really been in an economy where the government is mainly doing tariffs over income tax. That pretty much came to an end in the past, long before any of us were born. And people are just freaked out. And I don't know if it's going to cost us any more money. But when I did my tariffs and taxes video, I had talked about our government making money solely through tariffs and what I think would happen if we started returning that way. I think tariffs can be better for the citizens of America than tariffs. I think it needs to, for people, all the people involved, to not play games. So when you got companies that come back to America and they see their things are costing more because of tariffs, don't maximize all the dollars that you can get for higher profit margins. Keep it reasonable that people can buy, and they want to buy from you. You'll make more money over volume than over price per item. And if that happens, and the worker sees that big business is making an unfair advantage cost, what's going to happen is what's happened in the past. Unions are going to start hyping up. They're going to want more money. That's going to add to the price of everything that's being produced in America, and between a higher price of big business and a higher price of unions and a number of other skullduggeries, those are the two bigger ones, we're going to have an increased price of everything to America, which is going to put us back into swinging the pendulum, because this is what happened in my past as a younger person. And the company's like, well, we're tired of having to spend more money on unions. We can get it cheaper in this country and that country and that country. And that started the globalization and then ended up with things such as NAFTA. So to keep the pendulum from swinging back to where it was, which was not good, we need to get the pendulum to not swing where big business and unions are hitting everyone's wallet. We got to keep it in the fair region where it's really clear that American products will be seriously less expensive than foreign competitors. I am hoping that this is part of Trump's plan. Obviously, I don't know. So we'll see what happens. No one can tell. It's too soon. The tariffs have just started, and now we got to see what the results are going to be.
My kitty is a grandmaster. That is a great point. We're not necessarily number one. However, when you look at the amount of money that we put in foreign aid to certain countries, we dwarf our next neighboring nation. Now, do I think that we shouldn't support aid? No, I think it's absolutely we should go ahead and do that. But if you look at what takes precedence, unfortunately, the information is that other nations are more important than the folks at home. And call me selfish, but I would like our nation to take care of its people. I don't mind supporting our neighbors. I mean, I did a video not too long ago regarding some of the protections that we put into place. When you look at things like some of the processes, the policies that were put into place to preserve and protect. We've been a policing nation ever since we put and I can't think of the name of it. I just completely went blank. It's the one where we basically protected the Latin nations, and they got really angry at us for trying to defend our borders when what we were doing is trying to keep Spain and France. Why in the hell did I just go blank? I can't remember.
I don't know. Frustrating when it happens.
Yeah. So we've done this. We've been the police. We've tried to support and do this. I don't have any problem with supporting another nation. We're not the only place, and I heard this in a stream the other day, and it's absolutely truth. We're not the only nation to rebuild a country after war either. There's other places that have assisted and supported in that. However, we should be taking care of our own. And with this tariff thing, so you guys know I love Reagan. I'm a huge fan of Reagan. I liked his policies. I liked the way he handled stuff. There's a lot of people who necessarily didn't like Reagan, and that's fine. But Reagan warned about tariffs doing one thing, and if we relied too heavy on them, that tariffs could do something that would cause us to lose the competitive edge. It would cause the United States to get comfortable. It would cause additional monies to go out. And by the time Reagan was in office, you guys have to realize that 80%, I think it was at this time, between 70 and 80%, all of U.S. currency was offshore. U.S. money wasn't in the United States. It was overseas. And we were supporting other countries. We were building relationships. So we were supporting and structuring things. 70 to 80%, by the 85, I can't remember what the total number was. It's right around 80% of all the currency in the United States that we had printed was offshore. And so when you look at situations like this, yes, we have. But we focused so much on foreign investment, foreign trade, foreign relation. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a bad thing, but we've cost ourselves a competitive edge. We've cost ourselves as a nation the ability to compete in anything STEM. We are not one of the top nations when it comes to mathematics. We are not one of the top nations when it comes to science. We are not no longer one of the top nations when it comes to industrial processes. And a lot of these problems came with the overuse and the overabundance of tariffs. Tariffs have their problems. Right now, what we have to do is we have to utilize that tool to get ourselves to where we can be competitive, because right now we are in a mildly financial situation that needs addressing, right? And um, it's one of those things that we need to clean house. We need to get our stuff in check, and we need to clean shop. And I'm not going to throw out and say, well, we're cleaning the swamp. I actually hate that phrase because it points to the muck and the mire. Unfortunately, swamps are some of the healthiest places. So there's analogies that need to be careful being utilized. A swamp is a bog, and bogs actually protect and provide for abundant wildlife. So I don't want to say we're going in and we're going to clear out everything, right? That's mass destruction. We have uh, places that do that, and it's no good for anybody. That's not what's happening here. What's happening is the fact that we're trying to establish ourselves again on the economic frontier and bring stuff back home, bring jobs back home, bring industry back home, bring money back home, bring quality back home. And if we overdo these tariffs, it's not going to help us. So seeing this 50% of what other countries are charging us, it's reassuring. And I don't think it's an over exaggeration. And if you look at what has happened from when they first did it, the negotiations with Canada, there's been changes. And what Trump has forced us to do in his 5D chess, right? We're talking about this multi level chess platform where he's utilizing strategies that are way beyond my financial grasp in making sure that he's getting people. And Tiger, how many times have you heard me say this? Getting people to the table to be able to negotiate.
I think we've all heard that loads of times.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that's what he's doing. He's forcing these nations to the negotiation table where they can work out fair and equitable deals. And that's what's happening. I'm not as worried seeing some of these things. Now, some of them surprised the holy hell out of me. When I saw some of these countries and the tariffs that they do against us, I was like, holy crap. But I do expect certain things to happen. Is there going to be backlash? My kitty's a grandmaster. Yes, but you know what? It's because when you take money, so I'll give you a great example. And I am not knocking any nation, but I'm going to use this because Tiger's wife is a dog trainer. And you don't reach down and grab a dog's food while they're eating. They're likely to bite the hand that feeds them. You can have a very well trained dog, and most of the time you'll be okay. But if that dog is hungry, you might get snapped at. And you know what we're doing? We're taking a lot of the food away from a lot of these people, and we're bringing it home. And of course, you're going to have some pissed off people. But we need to feed our own. And if you look at other countries, they are way, way, way heavier in the hole on this than we are. So I think it's a good idea. I think there's potential issues with it. Now, we'll talk about stock market, but Tiger, I'm going to go ahead and drop back to you. And what are your thoughts on my commentary? I know this is supposed to be a 15-minute segment. It's probably going to go a little bit more because it's a big topic.
Yeah, it is. My feeling is that it's a very sticky situation, especially with the global issues that are going on right now. I see how a lot of countries have taken advantage of us. I've also noticed how Neil says, about certain things in Iran, which is, as far as I'm concerned, is not a problem. We don't have an issue going on with the trade issue with things. We need to get Iran and all those to do their thing and quit involving everybody else. But when you see a completely unfair balance in tariffs, actually, to be honest with you, I was shocked that it was basically 50%. I thought it was going to be an even Steven across the board. But you do have people learning to suck it up and deal the fact that they're not going to be allowed to take advantage anymore. It's similar to having a spoiled child, and you finally realize that the child is completely spoiled and thinks that they're entitled to everything, and then you cut them off, and they're going to throw their temper tantrums and say and do whatever they want in retaliation until they realize it's not going to work. Do we need to support other countries? Yes, and the one country I mainly disagree with Trump on, but the
Indeed.
point is the fact that I see in that situation that the Putin is not trustworthy and needs to be watched a lot more closely, but that's another subject. The point I'm trying to make is that we need to have more things brought back into this country. We were an industrial powerhouse, and we needed that industrial powerhouse to maintain, which we didn't. And I've seen someone else say something about we got to keep our union strong. Well, yeah, no. If the big business isn't trying to take advantage of their workers, unions are not necessarily needed that much. I kind of see unions as more like nuclear weapons. You have them so you don't have to use them. But if unions take and really take after everything and try to increase the cost of everything, that adds to the total price per unit of whatever you're paying for. That's going to then increase the cost out of the general public's pocket, and subsequently the price of everything's going to go up. And then even despite tariffs, we run the risk that foreign products are going to be less expensive than American. And like I said before, the pendulum will start to swing the opposite direction. So I'm hoping everybody plays fair. I'm frightened by the typical American. I have that one too. But I'm frightened by the fact that people are just going to be greedy, say, oh, we can get away with this because we got the tariffs protecting us, and then that'll be the beginning of the domino effect.
Exactly. And that's a problem. Yeah, and I see Miss Coin Crew in here. I want to say something I heard. I went to go into Ida Stream this morning, and I unfortunately was in a meeting and didn't have the opportunity. So I caught like the last 2 minutes of the stream. And the one thing is, folks, we were due for a market correction anyway. You guys know this, right? We've been on an upslope for the last little while as they printed out money after money after money, and the Fed's checkbook never ended and continued to climb. We've seen the stock market grow. We've seen
they wouldn't print money, would they?
And so we've seen continued growth. And you guys have watched me. You guys know I'm a coin collector and stuff, but you've seen me throwing out a bunch of silver here because, again, this is an opportunity, not just necessarily for silver and gold, but it's an opportunity as prices drop to buy, right? And I heard Mr. Coin Crew say this when they were talking about the prices of the stocks. It's providing an opportunity for us to buy. We were in a situation where we're due for a correction. And what's going to happen is industry is going to shift. Finances are going to be looked at. We already have Doge, whether you like them or not, looking at some of the stuff that's going on. We're identifying things. We're cleaning house. And when you clean house, sometimes you have to get rid of stuff that you want to keep because you need to make room. And so we have an opportunity right now to assess our situation and buy to increase our opportunity. As prices go down, the opportunity to buy go up. Now, everybody's like, "Oh my God, but silver, gold, hey, look what's happening." Folks, I don't know about you, but I'd rather buy at 32 than buy at 34.
True.
But these are all short-lived, right? And so I know, Tiger, we're already like 20 minutes into this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think we're 30 minutes into this conversation. I wanna real quick ask the opinion of the people that are in chat. Okay. Yeah, in March, it's absolutely going to go back up. It's going to come down. Anytime you see an administration change, you either see an increase, a decrease, a flattening, and then it's going to go up or down depending upon what happens. In Trump's era, it went down because he was changing a lot of stuff. Clear the swamp, clear the swamp, clear the swamp. There were leftover residuals of Obama from that time frame. And then it came back up. It stayed pretty flat. Our economy did good. Silver and gold were decreasing as the stock market was making massive gains. We saw some really good stuff in the stock market during his first term. We did see some prices drop. We did see some variability in there, but certain market sectors did really well. We're going to see the same thing, but it's going to take a little bit of time for those things to happen. However, people don't like change. People don't like to see short-term loss. And so a lot of people are going to be upset. It's just an opportunity to buy. So don't remember, folks, I say this all the time. Buy, sell, whatever it is, but act. Do not react. Reaction is when you make mistakes because that involves emotion, and emotion is where we make our mistakes. So if you're going to make a decision, make an educated decision, whatever it is, do your research and make your own decision. And then from that, you can determine whether it's been a good one or not. But let's go ahead and move to our main topic of the day, because this is another one where we might go just a few minutes long, because this is a cover your butt token. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next topic. All right, Tiger, you want to crack it open?
Yeah, I cracked the wrong egg earlier. I had to pull that egg back. This is the correct place for this egg. This is regarding a guy named Rob Gray or Bobby Gray, a fellow who had been involved with a number of skullduggery.
Okay, so before you go on any further, is there anybody in chat who knows who this person is? Do you guys have any idea? Hint, hint, wink, wink, thumbnail. Okay. But is there anybody who knows who this person is? Because if not, you really, really, really need to pay attention to what we're about to say.
Yeah. Put a 1 in the chat if you know this person. Put a 2 if you don't. Okay, I'm not seeing any numbers at this point.
So they don't even know what number to put in. So
okay.
It's all good. Let's go ahead and break it down. It's clear that people don't know who this is.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and break this
Bobby Gray was part of Liberty Mint, which was the Norfed dollar fiasco that happened. He was the CEO of Mulligan Mint. It was a total Ponzi scheme, and the guy went into bankruptcy. He fled America. Currently is in the process of building cryptocurrency called Texacan.
No.
What's that?
Texacoin,
sorry. And this is just probably another scam. He was also part of a situation where he was banking other people's silver, and there was no silver. And subsequently, as I think I understand what I read was his company, Mulligan Mint, went to a company called Republic Metals Corp and RMC, and got a lot of silver from them, I think, to maybe replenish what was not there, but then turned around and never paid Republic Metals Corp, and ended up legal action was taken, and they ended up filing bankruptcy. So with someone who's got a history of, being involved in the Norfed scandal, being involved in bankruptcying a company because he didn't have the silver that he should have had. Now they're starting Texacoin, and it looks like it's out of China. So why
You want me to break it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Texit, Texit coin is meant to make it sound like it is a Texas-based cryptocurrency. It is from the same gentleman who worked with Liberty Mint. Now, it's not the same guy who owned Norfed, but he still worked with the same group of people. And so what's important to know is that they were busted by the Fed for trying to disrupt U.S. currency and coin. That was the whole thing behind Norfed. Now you get this guy who is what they call a Texas separatist. He is a separatist. He is anti-establishmentarianism to the bone. He absolutely does not like organized structure of any kind. He thinks Texas should secede. He has his own stuff. He does his own thing. He's just one of those types of people. Well, he created this company called Mulligan Mint. And Mulligan Mint was, and many of you guys have heard this, you just don't know the name. Mulligan Mint was a storehouse where you could buy silver and they would store it for you. And if you guys remember in 2013 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, this was about the time that all this was going on. He had amassed a debt with RMC of approximately 1.4 to 1.7 million in silver back in that time frame. Now we're talking at about 12, 13, 18, $16, whatever it was during that time frame. So by today's standards, we're talking about $2.4, $2.5 million worth of silver. If you do the math, that's about 75,000 ounces. And it disappeared like a fart in the wind. And when RMC went after them, he tried to file bankruptcy. Now, you owe a debt, you file Chapter 11. Well, the courts saw what happened, and he started to get this other company to try to buy it. And he actually bought it through another company for 1.4 million. But they never allowed this company to file the bankruptcy. Ultimately, they did allow the other company to buy it. The courts had said no, but ultimately over time they eventually allowed for that to occur. They actually allowed the purchase of this other metals company, and I think this metals company was called NRT. But
That sounds about right.
Here's the play out. Okay. So where was his money stored? It was stored in a South Dakota bank called the Bank of Lakota. It is not an FDI insured bank. Caveat emptor, right? So buyer beware. Know where your money is. Okay. He's been involved in 2 Ponzi schemes, both of which ended in federal and court interaction. And now he is in Singapore. So, ladies and gentlemen, put a 1 in chat if Singapore is its sovereign nation, or 2, if Singapore is Chinese.
It'll be interesting to see what they think.
You get a lot of mixed stuff here. If you're Singaporean, I know the answer. If you're Chinese, I know the answer. But you're going to get different responses because the sovereign nation of Singapore has very strong political and economic ties to China. And when you look at the coin recent thing that happened, I can't remember the name of the coin. What's the coin that failed? The guy that ripped everybody off, and then there was the Chinese company. It was the Korean. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he's back, right? No issue. I'm a Singaporean. I'm a Singaporean. I'm a Singaporean. When you look at the whole thing, it sounds familiar if you remember this whole situation that happened with TikTok, right? You heard the same thing. I'm a Singaporean. I'm a Singaporean. I'm a Singaporean. I'm not Chinese. I'm not Chinese. I'm not Chinese. However, when you look at some of the financial backings, Singapore is one of the strongest nations, one of the most secure, and has some of the toughest laws in the world. But Chinese hide their businesses there. So now he is in Singapore, who spends a lot of time going back and forth, even when he was in court, even when he was going through this situation, even when he was going through the political battle, even when he was being sued, he would constantly make trips to Singapore. And now he wants to sell you crypto.
Yeah, let's sign up for that one.
I don't know about you, but that's where the whole warning Will Robinson thing is on the thumbnail. Be very careful with this. If you guys get into crypto, Singaporean is it's so sure Stan with the dad jokes. I'll give you 3 womps. But yeah, be very careful about this. Yoxnow was somebody who sent this to me. I actually got 2 other people who said, "Hey, what do you know about this?" I brought it to Tiger's attention, and this is potentially some bad news for people.
Oh yeah.
This crypto that he's doing, he prides himself on the fact that it's not traceable. Would you give your non-traceable money to a guy who has a history of ripping people off?
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
I am not calling this man a crook. I am not judging him by character. I am judging him by previous acts, and I can only make my decision based off of the past, things that have already happened. And so I would urge caution when looking at this particular situation. If you see Texas, just know that it is not a Texas-based company. It has nothing to do with the Texas legislation for a gold and silver species currency. He's timed this for that political realm. He's timed this because he knows that just made headway, and information just went forward to the Texas Senate, and it's now at its second stage in that particular item. I did a little bit of an update, but be very careful. This is coordinated. The information that's being put together is being designed around trying to make this really look like it is tied to this Texas legislation. The name, the icon, all of it. So be very, very leery of this Texas situation. I'm not going to tell you not to buy. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would urge caution and I would urge warning. If you have any questions on this material, Tiger and I have a slew of information, plenty of articles, court documents. If you want to do more research on it, reach out to Tiger and I, and we can send you these links. We'll be putting in the description, but we want to make sure that you are informed. This is not solely our opinion. This is based off a lot of research and a lot of public resentment. If you look at coin channels, you look at coin boards and things of that nature, you're going to see a very large set of people who were very, very happy to see him leave and who came irate. Chat channels that were 6, 7, 8, 9 years old that were dead are now alive with people throwing fits about this guy's return and warning. It's on almost every social media channel. Folks, take it seriously. Okay, monitor yourself. If you guys play with crypto, I would strongly urge you guys to do some research before you jump in to this particular one.
And speaking of of crypto, I have got into a little bit of crypto just to monkey with it to keep keep everyone abreast of my experience.
He said breast.
Yeah.
I just moved to Beavis and Butthead token, so I mean, I had to, or a silver bar, so I had to do it.
Okay, got it. So basically, the traditional cryptos, they're not faring so well. And if the traditional cryptos aren't faring so well in a country that has declared that they want to be the crypto capital of the world, brings in two things. What will this Texas coin do? Number one. And number two, if it's not in America, you're not going to get Elon and Trump trying to promote it. They're going to promote what's going to help the country. So between the past skullduggery of Mr. Gray and the him being in China and Trump wanting to make America, not China, the crypto capital of the world, and the traditional cryptos are not faring so well, what do you think is going to happen? You answer that question for yourself, because once again, we're not financial advisors. And to answer your question, L, this is a Ronald Reagan 10-ounce bar that I just recently got. So
that he's sending to me because he's such a good guy. He's like, I'm going to kick you in the ass, Frosty.
I'm glad you said that, because I don't think my wife likes me talking like that.
Oh, no, it's all good fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted Tiger and I, when we were talking about this, we talked about doing the silver squeeze and we talked about doing that kind of stuff. We talked about looking at the prices of things and showing you guys some really neat silver and kind of going through some stuff. But when the community reaches out and says, hey, you know what? You really need to warn some people about this. Tiger and I take this very seriously. We are here for you. We're doing this because we love it, but we're here for you. We want to try and provide you the best information that we can. And when we hear of this stuff, we want to try and do what we can to share it out. And so if you guys find stuff, if you absolutely, Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker, that squeeze was a marketing ploy. It was meant, this was a total shop for the coin channels, for the stacker, for the collector. It was a total, stop and grab some KY moment. But people knew exactly what it was and took it for that and didn't do it. And so that's absolutely all it was. And now, is it over? No, I think they're going to continue to push this because the people are losing money hand over fist, and they're trying to find ways to basically put you guys into a position to take your money. Again, it is what it is. And so be very careful when it comes to these things. Again, act, don't react. There's a lot of great channels. Seeker did an amazing video on this. Yankee and Salivate have done good topics on this. Salivate just dropped another one today regarding it. I think Yankee dropped one yesterday where they talked with Tim. They talked a lot about this kind of stuff. Go watch the people and pay attention to those folks who really try to do research to set you guys up for success. And, that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to compete with them. We're a community. And if we can come alongside and support those channels and call those channels out and have you guys, listen to all of us. You know what I mean? And because I want you to watch us, but we're ultimately about your protection and your safety. So that's what matters.
And honestly, that's really what it boils down to. I mean, yeah, everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants to make a better income. And, that you can't deny that. To say you don't want that, that's fibbing. But honestly, Frosty has a separate job. I have a separate job. We can rely on those as being our main sources of income. We typically do this to help everyone in the community so that you don't get taken advantage of. And you've heard me tell loads of stories about, especially in my beginning, what I got in trouble with. So I don't want people to make that same mistake. And if I can be part of this, if Frosty can be part of this, we can move ahead and protect everyone, especially the newbies. Newbies are the most at risk for being taken advantage of. So,
I would like to say one more thing to that regard, and I'm gonna do a public call. Okay, I've seen recently people say some things, and it's not necessarily been here, just in general. I've seen it on Facebook as I watch coin channels and I watch people talk about errors and varieties, and when I watch people talk about the price and the misconceptions regarding the gold to silver ratio and stuff like that. They're calling people stupid. Oh my God, you're so dumb. You don't understand this. How can you be such a fool? This is common sense. Folks, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. And it isn't because I'm stupid. It's because I either was never taught it or I haven't had the time to learn it. Doesn't mean I'm foolish. Doesn't mean I'm an idiot. There's a lot of things Tiger doesn't know, but doesn't mean Tiger's stupid or foolish. There's a lot of really smart people. There's a lot of people in here right now. Reluctant, I just saw your comment. That's exactly right. Cool heads are key. But it's really important that when we talk about this, we don't go, hey, he's an idiot because he didn't understand this. Give them the opportunity. Why do you say that? And then give them the opportunity to correct it. Common sense is only common if everybody has it. And so if we want to be a good community of people, we want to help people and educate people and do that. That's what we need to be as educators. So give people the opportunity to write. Yeah, exactly, Metal Matt. Write a book of the stuff I don't know. My granddad used to always tell me that he forgot more than I'll ever know. And I always thought, oh, okay, yeah, smart aleck. He's, patting himself on the back. And now I understand exactly what he meant. So just be careful with it. We have opportunities right now to educate and to come alongside. And I don't care. I'll be honest with you. Tiger knows this. I don't care if you think the way I think or not. I don't care if you think my opinions are 100 shot to the wind. If you and I can sit down and have the conversation, that's what I'm concerned about. Because only then can we come to understanding, and can I begin to understand what you are. The moment you assume you know what that person's thinking, or you know what that person's saying, or you know how much they know, you know that this thing right here, right? That's 4 ounces because look how thick it is. It's actually only 2. Oh no, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand this stuff. Well, yeah, inform me, teach me, right? So give them the opportunity. And I won't, don't assume. Or is that ass, Ume? Ask you me. Yep, exactly. So anyway, Tiger, what do you want to say? We're just about to wrap stuff up. What are your closing remarks?
Okay, wrapping it up. Wrap it up. Watch who you're dealing with. Caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. Protect your family. If your bells and whistles are screaming at you, listen to them. I don't know everything about everything, but I could spend another 5, 6, 7 hours telling you stuff that I either stumbled into accidentally or I listened to my instincts and I didn't get involved and avoided huge problems. I'm sure you all have had the same thing. If your gut is screaming at you, listen to it. It's more important for you to protect your family, yourself, and get prepared for what's coming. As always, stack food, water, protection, shelter, silver for barterability, gold for wealth preservation. Make a strong community as strong as you can. Me personally, I have trouble getting my neighbors to listen to me talk about what's coming. They probably think I'm just some sort of crazy prepper. But there will be a day that they will start listening. Take care of what you can. Always keep in mind the serenity prayer. To know what you can control, what you can't control, know the difference. That's the short version of the whole thing. And it doesn't only apply to addictions, it applies to life. So take care of all of your families and take care of each other. Let's help each other as our YouTube, internet, global community, but as well as take care of what is physically close to us. So that's that's always probably going to be my main theme for ending anything in YouTube. Your turn.
Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker, you're absolutely right. The water situation with Mexico and the U.S., or even the southern United States, and that whole situation is a great example of how this can go. So if you guys don't know about that or you want to know more about that situation, we'll find some articles and some information on that particular one and share it as well. It's a great point.
Yeah, I'm going to have to learn about that. I just saw it on my phone just briefly before we went live.
So my point in this is this topic came about because you all reached out. There's a lot of people in this chat who are goofy and fun. They like to laugh. They're very generous. They're kind. They have opinions. Sometimes they're weird. Hey, surfer, what's up? How you doing?
Hey,
Um,
Surfer.
oh, you know what? Hold on just a minute. Okay, I said people are weird, and then I said hi, surfer. That wasn't meant to be that way. Um, I was like, hold on, wait, that didn't sound right. I wasn't calling you weird. Um, I will say this,
Well, you're allowed to get away with talking to him
surfer. If
that
you're
way.
going to have surfer send you a package, look at it carefully before he sends it to the post office.
Well, dude, you're allowed to get away with talking to him that
If,
way.
if you don't know why, he sent me a package almost a year ago and he put hazmat on it. It took me almost a year to get it. I did a video on that. You guys should go check that out. It's funny. But no, there's a lot of great people in this community. And here's the thing. The situation that we talked about today is about preparing yourself and being informed. It takes a village. It's important to come together. None of us are doing this alone. And if you have, and you can surround yourself with people who are more knowledgeable in areas in which you suffer, then you have the opportunity to achieve. The only stupid question is the one that's not asked. And if somebody calls you stupid, they're probably just as uninformed as you are. So don't ever be afraid to ask questions. Send us emails, send us super chats. That's always great. Good way to get our attention. And we'll answer those questions. And if we don't have the answer, you know what? We know the people that do. So thank you for doing this, Tiger. Thank you for hosting. Next week, it's in my ball court. So you'll see that come up pretty soon.
Yeah, it's not going to be 2 weeks next time because in 2 weeks I'm going to be at my job and I can't get free. So we're going to do it in 1 week. Then we're going to go back to 2 weeks because then I won't be working at that time. And next week will be Frosty. And then 2 weeks after that, it will be here on Tiger. Okay. And by the way, Frosty's allowed to talk to Surfer that way. We are all part of the same band. If you haven't seen that video, go look at it. It's fun.
Hey, you know what? Hold
What?
on. Do I have it? Hold on just a sec. Just a sec. Is it here? Is it here? Do I have it?
What do you have?
Do I have it? No, I don't. I was going to say who wears it better.
Oh.
We'll leave that for another time.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Folks, you guys know Angry Warrior Tackle Box. On Sunday, Angry Warrior is going to come in and he's going to be on my channel and we're going to talk silver and pouring. He's going to show a lot of his stuff. He's going to be the special guest. He's already confirmed this. So if you guys want to see silver pouring, you guys want to see the stuff that he's done, he's extremely talented. We have a lot of amazing people in this hobby who do this kind of stuff. Please come over, check that out. Again, Sunday morning, 8:30 Central to 10:30 Central. He's going to be going over tons and tons and tons of silver pours. So make sure you guys are there for that. What do you got going on this week, Tiger? You dropping any videos?
Well, I'm still working on something for the live stream to do the workshop for a specific gravity. You've been helping me with that. I think we're getting close to making what I made that I think is good to maybe a little bit better. So that's coming up. Tomorrow, I have a video scheduled to be released. I'm not going to release it today because we just did our live stream here, but it will be an out of sequence new rigged video. I still have the intention of getting rig 9 done. This one's going to be out of sequence, but when I put them in the playlist, they will be in sequence. So if you ever want to see what happened with the rig series, you can start from the beginning and keep going down. The last one in the series was 8, then it skips around a little bit. This will be another skip around a little bit because the rig series, the further I've gone on into the series, the harder and harder it is to get things done between my time and my brother-in-law's time. But that's coming. I got one additional video in the background. I'm also doing a video that's in editing to do product comparisons, especially for those of us who like to pour silver. So that's coming up. A few other things that I've got to go ahead. I'm going to be talking about silver products that have presidents in them, and a new way to count your silver and gold, but it only works with one company. I'm not going to tell you which company. It might ruin it, but you know which one I'm talking about, Frosty.
Yep.
So those are all things that are coming on, and I'm trying to get some free time to get over to the pawn shop and also do some more silver pouring so I can get things ready for everyone. So that's what I've got going on until it's time to go back to New Mexico. Now, I'm going to try to be awake because I'm not a morning person. I'm going to try to be awake if you're going to have Angry Warrior on. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. Are we ready for 100 gold to silver ratio? It's getting close, man. It's getting close. Oh, so that's something that we can talk about. Are you going to talk about that, Surfer? If so, drop that. Let us know when. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to sign off. Just remember, Tiger once asked his wife, "Why did you marry me?" And she says, "It's because of your sense of humor." And Tiger said, "Oh, I thought it was because I was good in bed." And she goes, "There you go again."
Thanks a lot, dude.
Have a good one, folks. Love you guys. Be well. Be blessed.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night. Hope to see you soon.